Hello children, welcome to AIMS India's online class. Today from mathematics subject, real numbers topic we are going to continue. Before going to learn this real numbers, so first of all we have to know all the previous number systems so that we can define what real numbers are. So first let's start with the counting numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the numbers starting from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that, whatever numbers we have, these are all considered as natural numbers or counting numbers. The symbol for natural numbers is n. So if we add 0 to the natural numbers, then the second set of numbers is called as whole numbers, and the symbol for whole numbers is W. So in whole number system, along with the natural numbers, the 0 is included. If we add -1, -2, -3 like that, negative numbers to the whole numbers, means to 0 and to the positive numbers, then we will get one new number of system that is considered as integer system, and the symbol for integer system is J. So not only this positive numbers, negative numbers and 0, we also have numbers like 1/2, a positive fraction, -1/3, a negative fraction, 0.5 decimal, or we can call it as terminating decimal, 0.3456 dash dash dash, non-terminating, non-repeating decimal, or the numbers which are in the form of p/q. So these are all different numbers. Along with the integers, if they are combined, then we will get a new system of numbers that is called rational numbers, denoted by the symbol q. Now we have got almost all the types of normal numbers. So natural numbers, 0 is added means whole numbers, negative numbers added means integers, fractions, decimal numbers added means rational numbers. So this rational numbers, it is one set of numbers consisting of natural numbers, whole numbers and integers. Apart from this rational numbers, we also have one more kind of numbers which are called as irrational numbers. And the symbol for irrational numbers is I. So here in irrational numbers, again we have two types: real algebraic numbers, transcendental numbers. So here if you observe the numbers like √2, -√3, 1 plus √5/2, here √2 means, what does it represent? We know the value of √2. It is 1.414 something, 414 dash dash, like that its value will come. So means it's a decimal number which cannot be written in terms of a fraction. This is a decimal number. √2 is such kind of number which cannot be written in the form of p/q. So that kind of numbers, -√3 also like that only. So that kind of numbers are termed as real algebraic numbers. So we have another kind of numbers called transcendental numbers. So pi, e, -2pi. So actually, what are these transcendental numbers? So in mathematics, a transcendental number is a complex number that is not an algebraic number, that is not a root of non-zero polynomial equation with integer coefficients. So means this pi will never be the solution of any algebraic equation. It won't be the root of any equation. Means it won't be the solution of any equation. So that kind of numbers are known as transcendental numbers. So here the algebraic numbers and transcendental numbers are together considered as irrational numbers. So transcendental numbers means they cannot be written in the form of, real algebraic numbers means they cannot be written in the form of p by q. So transcendental numbers means they are never be the solutions of any algebraic equation. So these two together are called as rational numbers. Now all these numbers together we can call them as real numbers, denoted by the symbol R. So real numbers we can consider as a superset of all these subsets. Now let's see how to define how do we define real numbers. So real numbers means just now we have discussed it may be a zero, it may be a positive number, it may be a negative number, fraction, terminating decimal, non-terminating decimal, real algebraic number, transcendental number. It may be any kind of number, but it can be represented on the number line. So all the real numbers, they can be represented on the number line. Even the transcendental number like pi also we can represent on the number line. It is somewhat risky, but we can represent on the number line. So the numbers, all the real numbers from 0 to this transcendental number, all can be represented on the number line. So they are called real numbers because they are not imaginary. In today's video, we are going to learn about Euclid's division lemma. Let's see some details about this great mathematician, Euclid. So he was a Greek mathematician and popularly known as founder of geometry or father of geometry. He was active in Alexandria during the time of Ptolemy, around 300 BC. His book Elements is one of the most influential works in the history of mathematics. It has been serving as the main textbook for teaching mathematics. So regarding division, this Euclid has proposed a theorem that is called Euclid division lemma. So here lemma means it is like a theorem, but not as important as theorem. So considered as a small theorem, or it is a minor result that has been proved to be true using the facts that were already known. So this mathematician Euclid, based on division, he has proposed a small theorem, and that is called Euclid's division lemma. Let's consider we have 9 chocolates, and we have to divide them into equal groups consisting 2 of each group. So we know that 2 4 times is around 8, and the remainder will be 1. If we have given 9 chocolates and we were asked to make them into groups of each having 2, then we can make them into 4 groups. Still, 1 chocolate will be remaining. So this is the normal division which we know already. So this normal division, according to division rule, how we can write? So dividend equal to divisor into quotient plus remainder. This is the division rule. So from this division, so here dividend is 9, divisor is 2, quotient is 4, and finally the remainder is 1. So we can represent this division in the form of division rule like this. Instead of numbers, if we consider variables, suppose 9 is denoted by variable A, 2 by B, 4 by Q, and 1 by R. Then A equal to B into Q plus R, where A and B are dividend and divisor respectively. Q is the quotient and R is the remainder. So here for any two positive integers a and b, so there exists unique integers q and r satisfying the below condition, that is a equal to b into q plus r. So here we have taken two positive integers, one is 9 and another one is 2. For that two positive integers a and b, there exist two more integers like 4 and 1 which are unique. Unique means one and only one. There exists one and only one. 4 and 1, two more integers are possible based on the following condition, a equal to b into q plus r. But here one thing we have to keep in mind, so whatever remainder we are getting, that is always less than or equal to the divisor. Means 1 is, here we can observe 1 is less than 2. So according to Euclid's division lemma, if there is, for any two positive integers a and b, there exists unique integers q and r satisfying the condition of division rule, normal division rule. But one condition we have to remember, the 0 is less than or equal to or less than b. Means the remainder should always lies between 0 and the divisor, less than the divisor or equal to the divisor. Let's see some more examples. Or in simple words, Euclid's division lemma says that whenever you divide an integer by another integer, you will get a unique quotient and unique remainder. Some more examples are here. 17 is the dividend and 3 is the divisor. If we divide 17 by 3, so what we will get? 3 5 times 15 plus 2 will be the remainder. 24 divided by 7, 7 3 is 21. 3 will be the quotient and 3 will be the remainder. 61 divided by 11, 5 plus 6. 5 is the quotient and 6 is the remainder. 7 divided by 12. Though 7 is less than 12, we can divide with 12. How means? We can take quotient as 0. 12 zeros are 0 will come. 7 will be the remainder. So in each line, the underlying numbers are dividend and divisors respectively. Here 17, 24, 61, 7. These 4 are the dividends. Another group of underlying numbers 3, 7, 11, 12. These are the divisors. The numbers which are in the brackets, here 5, 3, 5, 0. These four are the reminders. These four are the reminders. And if you observe these examples, here a reminder is 2, which is less than divisor 3. Reminder 3 less than divisor 7. 6 less than 11. 7 less than 12. So all these, in all these examples, what we have observed, we have two numbers like a and b. Satisfying the a and b, we are having two more numbers like q and r, which are unique, and the r is always less than the divisor b. So like this we can prove Euclid's division lemma. So after Euclid division lemma, we have to learn about Euclid's division algorithm. It's an continuation of Euclid division lemma. Actually, it is a repeated process of Euclid division lemma. So repeatedly, so in whatever Euclid division lemma we have learned, that same process repeatedly we are going to apply. So that is called Euclid's division algorithm. So according to this, if A and B are two positive integers such that A equal to BQ plus R, then every common divisor of A and B is also a common divisor of Q and R. and vice versa, means in reverse process. So we have four, or we have some integers AB and QR. AB and QR, we have some integers which are in the form of A equal to BQ plus R, which are satisfying the condition which we have learnt in Euclid division lemma. So if they are satisfying Euclid division lemma, in that if AB positive integers, if they have common divisor, that common divisor will be the common divisor for other two variables like QR. So this we are going to prove in this Euclid division algorithm. So let's see some problems so that you can understand better. So this application of this Euclid division algorithm is mainly, it is used to find HCF of the integers, HCF of the integers. So what is HCF? Highest common factor, which we have learnt in our lower classes. Least common multiple, highest common factor, already we learned about these things. Or HCF, it is also termed as GCD, greatest common divisor, greatest common divisor. Now the thing is how to use Euclid division algorithm to find out HCF of given integers. So that is the present task. Let's see the solution. So first we have to apply Euclid division lemma for the given two integers. So what we have learnt in given Euclid division lemma, for two positive integers AB, there exist two more integers like QR such that A equal to BQ plus R. A equal to BQ plus R. This we have learnt in Euclid division lemma. So now they have given integers AB. A value is we can, or bigger value we can take it as A. A value is 38,318. B value is 196. Like that, two values are there. Two values are there. According to division lemma, how can we write it? If I divide 38,318, if I divide 38,318 with 196, what I will get? It is approximately multiplied by 195 times, and remainder I will get 98. Remainder I will get 98. So for AB, there exist two more variables called Q, which is the quotient, R, which is the remainder, where A is the dividend, where B is the divisor. B is the divisor. So according to division formula, we can write it as, according to division formula, we can write it as in this form. In this form, where dividend equal to divisor, dividend A equal to divisor B into quotient Q plus remainder R. Remainder R. So according to Euclid division lemma, we have to stop here only. But here we have to find by using Euclid division algorithm. So this division lemma we can continue for one more step until and unless the remainder is 0. So here division algorithm means the division lemma we have applied for one step, same step to be repeated up to what? Up to when? Until the remainder is 0. Until the remainder is 0. So here in second process, what we have to take? This dividend 196 will become the, this divisor 196 will become the dividend. This remainder will become the quotient. This remainder will become the quotient. So this 196, how can we write? If 196, if we divide with 98, if we divide with 98, 98 twos are 196, so cancels, the remainder will be 0. The remainder will be 0. If we have done Euclid division lemma for 2 steps, we have got the remainder 0. So when we have got the remainder 0, when the divisor is 98, at that time we have got the 0. So the HCF of given numbers is 98. The HCF of given numbers is 98. So like that, we can find HCF by using Euclid division algorithm. Euclid division algorithm. Okay, let's see one more example. If the HCF of two numbers, HCF of given two integers is expressible in this form, they are telling that this is HCF. Actually, this is not HCF, but it will be expressible in the form of this. If this is the HCF, find the value of, not x children, it is m here, find the value of m. So don't get confused with the question. First, we have to find the HCF. We have to find the HCF according to Euclid division algorithm. After that, whatever HCF we got, we have to equalize it to this given expression. So then we have to find the value of m. That is a task here. First, let's find HCF by Euclid's division algorithm. So how to write? So first we have to apply Euclid division lemma. Euclid division lemma. With smallest number with greatest, we have to divide the greatest number. So 963 will be the dividend. 657 will be the divisor. If we take one time 657 ones are 657, remainder will be 306. Remainder will be 306. So this is the first step. So here Euclid division algorithm means this Euclid division lemma step we have to continue. 657. This divisor will become the dividend. Remainder will become the divisor. Remainder will become the divisor. 306 twos are, we will get some number. With 306, we have to divide 657, then 2 times. 2 times we have to divide, we will get a remainder 45. We will get a remainder 45. So 2 is the quotient, 45 is the remainder. 45 is the remainder. This is the second step we have written using Euclid division lemma. So next, this step to be continued until what? Until when? Until the remainder will become 0. Here remainder we got 45. So we should not stop. We have to continue the process. 306 will come here. 306 will become the dividend. 45 will become the divisor. 45 6 times we have to multiply. We will get remainder 36. Next, 45 will come here. 36 will come here. Again, 36 ones are 36. Remainder will be 9. Remainder will be 9. Still we have not got 0. Still we have to continue. 36 will come here. 9 will become the divisor. 9 fours are 36. Remainder we are getting 0. So the Euclid division lemma process we have to continue until we will get the remainder 0. When we have got 0, when the divisor is 9, we have taken 4 times, we have got 0. When the divisor is 9, at that time we are getting 0. The HCF will be 9. The HCF will be 9 for the given numbers. 9 for the given numbers. So if they asked us to find HCF, 9 is the answer, the process completed. But here what they asked, the HCF will be in the form of this expression. This expression, we have to find M. This expression is the HCF. So this value is equal to 9. We have to equate both of them. So this value, 1 minute. So this value, children, so whatever we have got here, so this is the expression which is equal to HCF of given numbers. So just now we find it out. What is the HCF? 9. LHS will be the same. Right hand side I will keep 9. Right hand side I will keep 9. So then what happens? This minus into plus, it will become minus. This value will go that side. It will become plus. It will become plus. So after multiplication and adding, right hand side, the value will become this one. Value will become this one. If I want to find M, this 657 will come this side. We have to divide both and the answer is 22. Here the HCF is not 22. The HCF is 9 only. But they are telling that HCF is equal to this expression. In this expression, the M value is 22. If we keep in the place of M 22, then this value will become 9. This value will become 9. So by using Euclid division algorithm, we can find answer for these types of questions. Next, let's see one more example. So what is the largest number? What is the largest number that divides 626, 3127, 15,628 and leaves remainders 1, 2, 3 respectively? So means we have to find the largest number. Suppose if it is x that divides 3 numbers separately, but while dividing 3 numbers, when dividing first number, it leaves a remainder 1, while dividing second number, leaves a remainder 2, while dividing third number, leaves a remainder 3. Such number we have to find. Such type of number we have to find. So how to find? So the required number, it divides. It won't divide 626 exactly. It divides 626 with the remainder 1. That means if you remove minus 1 from 626, we will get 625. That 625 will be divided by x exactly. Okay. From 3127 also, as it is leaving remainder 2, if we remove minus 2, so means this 3125 will be divided by x exactly. From third number also, if we remove minus 3, if we remove 3, the result 15,625 will be divided by x exactly. But we want to find the number which divides exactly, that is also largest number we need. Here what we are telling, x divides 625, x divides 3125, x divides 15,625 exactly. Because whatever remainder we are getting, that we have subtracted. So the result will be divided exactly by x. But what they are asking? They are asking largest number. Means the number which also divides and which will be the largest. How to find largest number that divides? We have to find HCF of 3 numbers. Which numbers? Not given numbers. From the given numbers, this remainders we have to subtract. So then the resulting numbers. For the resulting numbers, we have to find the HCF. We have to find the HCF. We have to find the HCF. How? By using Euclid division lemma, or if 0 not comes, means by using Euclid division algorithm. So let's apply Euclid division lemma for the smaller numbers, the smaller two numbers. 625 is the smallest, 3125 is the smaller than bigger one. Let's take two numbers. So here this 3125, this dividend, so this is the 625 is the divisor, will be divided 5 times. So coefficient will be 5 and remainder will be 0. Means when we have divided with 625, we have got the remainder 0. So the HCF will be 625 for what? For these two numbers. For these two numbers. Okay. So indirectly in first step only we have got the HCF. So no need of continuation of lemma. It's enough. One step is enough. In the same way, let's take next two bigger numbers. 625, 15625. So here bigger number will become the dividend. Smaller number will become the divisor. 625, 25 times here. This number will come. So it will exactly divides 25 times. So remainder will be 0. Means when we are dividing with 625, remainder is coming 0. So for these two numbers also, HCF is 625. HCF is 625. If we get other number in first case, second case, we have to divide both of them again. But we have got same number in first case, same number in second case. So for the given three numbers, that 625 will be the HCF. So the HCF of these three numbers will divide the given numbers, not exactly, by leaving remainders 1, 2, 3 respectively, because it is dividing resulting numbers exactly, not given numbers. It is dividing resulting numbers exactly. So it will divide given numbers by leaving the remainders 1, 2, 3 respectively. So like that we can solve the questions by making use of Euclid division algorithm. So here children, so concept is very, very, very important. This A equal to BQ plus R. This actually A equal to BQ plus R. A equal to BQ plus R is the division rule, which we have learnt in lower classes. A is dividend, B is divisor, Q is coefficient, R is remainder. Same is used in the case of Euclid division lemma. In Euclid division algorithm also, that lemma is used repeatedly until the remainder is 0. So if you are perfect regarding with the concept of division rule, then easily you can solve the problems of Euclid division lemma and Euclid division algorithm. So here, let's see one more question. We can solve this real life problems also with the help of algorithm. 144 cartons means boxes or packs. 144 cartons of Coke cans, 90 cartons of Pepsi cans are to be stacked, means arranged in a canteen. If each stock is of same height and contains cartons of same drink, what would be the greatest number of cartons each stock would have? Means we have Coke cans, we have Pepsi cans. We have to arrange in such a way that each stack or each group will have same number of Coke cans, same number of Pepsi cans. Like that one group is there. In the same way, we can have more groups. But in each group, number of cans of both types should be equal. Means we have to find greatest possible number of cans greatest possible number that divides both the numbers, so that we can arrange equally to according to that number. So here we have two different numbers, 144 and 90. To arrange them equally, what we have to find? We have to find the greatest common divisor of these two numbers, so that we can arrange according to that number. By what? By Euclid division lemma or by Euclid division algorithm. So, okay. So, we have to find greatest number which divides exactly. Means we have to find HCF of two numbers exactly. HCF of two numbers exactly. So, how to write 144? 144 will be, bigger number will become the dividend, smaller number will be the divisor, 91 are 54 will be the remainder. This process will continue because remainder is not 0. This process will continue. Next step, 90 will come here, 54 will come here, 54 one times are, we will divide, 36 will be the remainder. Next continue, 54 comes here, 36 ones are, 18 will be the remainder. Next continuation, 36, 18 twos are 36, remainder is 0. When the remainder is 0, while we are dividing with 18, remainder is 0. So, the HCF is 18. So, the HCF is 18. So number of cartons in each stock, in each group should be 18. So, should be 18. 18. Like that we have to arrange. Like that we have to arrange. Okay, children. So, regarding this fundamental of theorem of arithmetic, we can learn later. Okay, children. Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon for receiving latest updates. Thank you, children. Have a good day.